Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. Shout out to the subscribers
the whole
on
thing
Spotify, on Apple,
Nice.
YouTube, and of course all the patrons have been paying their way, obviously the Freemasons, the Illuminati. Finally, we have to give a big kiss and a wink to all the ladies who listen to our podcast, who are indeed some of the most gorgeous and sexy ladies in the United Kingdom of England. I'm joined as ever by Jake Farrell.
So close to land.
I'm joined by Jake Farrell. We're here.
Fuck you, everyone that watches and listens. No one is as creative with their intros on the podcast circuit. Ramesh Ranganathan, you can get fucked. James Acaster, you can get fucked. No one is playing, without telling their co-host, an old country tune and doing an inexplicable American voice over the top. No one.
I've been listening to American podcasts, and they'll start. So I was listening to Pump It Up, Joe Biden a few months ago.
No, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the American president. It's close. Again, it's close.
It's going to be one of those records today. I was listening to a lot of Joe Budden previously, and that's mad. That's
Yeah.
woo,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Then I've started listening to chilled out ones. I've started listening to more relaxed ones, which start with a bit of guitar, a bit of hey, how's it going? Welcome. So I thought this week we'd start with that. Welcome to the Scream Up Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Jake's here as always. Now I'm going to pause our intro.
Yes.
To say two things.
Sure.
Regarding the intro.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of new listeners all the time. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, welcome to the show. Yes, we are going to discuss what we say we're going to discuss in the title of the episode. If you've come here because we're going to talk about this content creator, we're going to get to that. There's going to be 10 minutes of shit first.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, regular
just in case the bit with the American country music didn't make that clear.
Regular listeners will know that. Regular listeners, I think, enjoy that. Some of them do.
Yeah.
New listeners often get freaked out. There was a woman on the YouTube the other day who got freaked out. I think it's fair to say. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do know.
Yeah. So there was someone who was like, based take. It doesn't actually start till 12 minutes. I don't know what based take means, but yeah, it doesn't. But also, she didn't like that I was doing a big wink and a kiss to the ladies at the start.
Yeah. I can't imagine why.
It's a joke. And she took it so seriously. She was like, "It just feels like you're." What do you remember the phrase she used? She was like, "You're up for it, or you're looking for action." That's what she said. She was like, "It feels like you guys are looking for action." Look at the state of us.
Yeah.
Do you think we could even handle action?
No.
The state we're in.
I just think that a lot of the YouTube comments are from mad people that have clearly got too much time on their hands and they don't know what they're talking about. And at least that's what I'm choosing to believe, because a lot of them are calling me bald. So I'm saying that they're kind of bedroom keyboard warriors that don't have a clue what they're talking about. And I've got a full and vibrant head of hair, and everyone can see that.
And if the professional trolls on the internet want to say any different, they're going to be ignored.
Yeah. And do you know what? Think of my mental health.
Think of his mental health.
The thing that is most detrimental to my mental health is this podcast already, is the act of making the podcast.
His mentee H is on the blink.
And the only way that is offset is if we get good feedback from listeners who are enjoying it.
Yeah, or money.
Either one's good.
That's one thing people never say about mentee H. Money fucking helps.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into the meat of this intro. What are you saying? What's your week been like? You had a holiday. You went to Barcelona.
I went to Barcelona
with the Catalonians, and you said it was a bit busy.
Yeah, a bit busy for my taste. It's one of those where it's so nice that everyone wants to go there. The Barcelonans are fucked off with everyone going there and pouring money into their economy, so they're all making money hand over fist. How
dare you give us €7.50 for patatas bravas 4 times a day? How dare you on Los Ramblas? Yeah. Everyone goes on about have you been to Los Ramblas? It's fucking Oxford Street with a pedestrianised bit in the middle.
We actually didn't go because we'd received that intel. I was like, should we go? And people were like, no, you don't want to go there. But yeah, I mean, like, also, if we started moaning about it, I tripped over about 10 Spanish exchange students on the way here.
Yeah, I know.
So if you want to have a moan about it, all right, I'm trying to get a coffee on near UTA's office. Can't move for Spaniards. We're not having a go, and we're welcoming them. So when I go over to Barcelona and I want to drink 10 Estrellas a day, and that's all I want to do, just let me do that in peace. Stop daubing graffiti over the walls that said, tourists go home. And also, I will say, I was there with 3 of my closest mates, 2 of whom don't listen because they've got lives, and they are incredibly, I would say, friendly to the kind of Irish sensibility, which is we were never more than 30 minutes away from a treat. Do you know what I mean? We were never more than 30 minutes away from a beer, a coffee, or in my case, a cigarette, because I wasn't with the missus. And so
a slice of jambon.
Or a slice of jambon. Yeah, jambon iberico, bosh. It was great. So that was good. Came back, and look, long story short, I'm on the housing committee of the place where I live. It's full of absolute psychos. I got a 7-page memo about the housing committee sent to a WhatsApp group I'm part of at 6 o'clock this morning. So I found myself on the bus to work writing a message to these like pensioners about having to leave the WhatsApp group because of my mental health.
Did you actually say that?
I was just like, I don't have the energy or time to engage with this.
You're sending me fucking mental. Stop talking about when the bins go out.
And on my other WhatsApp, I can see messages pinging, and they're from fucking you about ruining this podcast in various ways. I've turned down loads of money. We've been offered loads of money, but I turned it down.
We have actually turned things down actually to keep you fuckers happy. So yeah,
and I would say that we do this all for the Patreons, right?
And for I know all the listeners.
Well, anyone that listens.
I'm sorry. I'm stressed to be like, no, we love you all.
We do love you all. You're
Especially
right.
the ones who pay.
But the ones we pay, we love a little bit more. And what I will say is that I've got 2 small announcements for the listeners.
Hit me.
The first is about some merch. Now, I've been in touch with a supplier, who's my sister-in-law, and she is currently making 50 limited edition Rotter friendship bracelets.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's doing it.
That's fucking amazing.
Now, if people want them, it'll be a charity thing, some kind of charity thing, I don't know. The charity being Jacob's bank balance, my bank balance.
Yeah, can you ask? Yeah, maybe ask me about that before we record. Fucking charity.
But if they're going to be orange and blue like the hats, and if there's demand for them, then she's only working with special needs young people in a school. Her job's not important. She can stay home and do the
charity bit. I just said maybe we'll give the money to them.
The second thing, merch related, is, as you know, if you join the Patreon at the $5.99 tier, you get a limited edition, strictly limited edition Rotter hat.
They're limited edition because we keep having more patrons than we expect. We keep we always be like, no, we're not going to do any more, and then we're like, nah, let's order some more from China. The woman in China hates me. I cannot stress this enough. She's so close to blocking me. So get signed up fast to get the last of the hats before she blocks me and it's all over.
And we had a situation where, unbelievably, like 3 weeks into starting the Patreon, we've had someone join from Australia.
Yeah.
Which I cannot stress enough. We don't know how it got there. Now, I did meet a couple of Australians at the live show, but they lived in London at the time. I don't know if they've moved back and this is what has happened. Anyway, we did not make clear that we cannot be sending the hats, which are, when in China, way closer to Australia.
Yeah, the hat's going back across the fucking Pacific Ocean, being like, hang on a minute, lads.
Now, we didn't think this was an issue we were going to have to deal with. Now, Nick Butler is the name of the patron, and we want to give him a shout out because he's been really good about it. We said to him, sorry, mate, this is going to cost it more to send you this one hat back than the whole shipment took to get to us.
Yeah.
And he kindly said, look, I'm not in it for the hat. He actually said he was doing it to fund the electro-bong habit. And to be fair, you're trying to.
Can I quickly say about the electro-bong habit? A listener called Paul sent me one. So I mentioned on the pod a few weeks ago, I want to stay on your point about the guy in Australia, but I just want to very quickly say, I mentioned on the pod a few months ago now that what I've done in the past is people have paid me to help them write their best man speech.
Yes.
As a professional comedian, professional comedy writer, I do that. Paul got in touch, was like, would you do that? I was like, yes. And he said he's a rotter. And I was like, because you're a rotter, mate, I'm just going to do it free of charge.
Right.
Did it free of charge. Paul very kindly sent me an electro bong in the post. I was happily puffing away at that for most of the summer. Then I read an article about how a lot of these bongs, electro bongs, are fake.
Technical name.
They're fake. They're like a rip-off of like the big brand American Californian ones.
Right.
And they actually contain the zombie drug spice. I checked the one that Paul sent me. I'm so sorry, Paul. I probably should have messaged you about this before I said this. It is fake and I'm worried it had spice in it. So yeah, I've quit the electro bongs. So thanks to Matt from Australia for helping Paul send me spice.
Paul can't listen to this because he's hallucinating that he's flying over the Brooklyn Bridge now.
Paul's tried to dive down the porcelain bowl of a toilet. Right, so there's a geezer in Australia who bought a hat and said, don't worry about sending it to me.
Well, so it's a big shout out to Nick. Big thanks to him. But here's the thing, right? I don't want to let Nick down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, is there any way that any of the rotters can help us get the hat to Nick, rather? Are you going to Australia in the coming weeks or months?
Can I just say?
Go on.
That's why I keep interrupting. Australia's such a big place. Is anyone going to Australia?
But we can use the Australian postal system when it gets there.
It's like saying, is anyone going to Europe?
Look, it's closer than fucking London, all right? And we'll worry about how we get it to... or I don't know which prison Nick's in either. No, I'm joking. So, we can worry about getting it to Nick when it gets down under. Yeah, to the land down under, all right? But can we do it? And then can we get a picture of Nick wearing the rotter hat in Australia? Ideally with a kangaroo, but doesn't have to be with a kangaroo. So get in touch with us via Instagram, I guess.
Instagram, Patreon, whatever. We read it all.
Yeah. And... we read it all.
I read it all.
Very big of you. So yeah, that's what we're looking to do. And a big shout out to Nick again for A, being a patron, B, being understanding, and C, being an Aussie.
And I just want to quickly say there's also a geezer in America called Matt who wants one.
And he's demanding that we send it to him, is he?
He's asking if it's possible. So yeah, if anyone's going to America, you can
running
help
a
us out
fucking travel agent.
Right, fucking 12 minutes in. Let's start an episode. This week, ladies and gentlemen, I know we're talking a lot of Patreon stuff, and I don't want this to feel like too much of a hard sell, because if you're not paying for the Patreon, we still massively appreciate you listening. But what we do is, if you're in the top tier of the Patreon, you can suggest who we talk about in the next episode. If you're on any tier of the Patreon, whatever you're paying, we let you vote on who we cover next. There was a fucking tight election. There was a tough vote.
There's a Brexit-style vote.
And it was Jeremy Fragrance versus the guy that we're covering this week. Jeremy Fragrance just about lost, but I think we're going to cover him soon anyway. The winner of the Patreon vote and the person we're going to be covering this week, he is an architect of being a twat on social media.
Really
I can't stand this guy. Every time the patrons vote, they just want blood, don't they?
Yeah, they want to inflict someone bad on us, and they want a two-footed Ben Thatcher-style elbow challenge on Pedro Mendes.
And let me tell you now, here comes Lee Catamol. This week we are talking about...
Jack Jones.
Oi, get on this.
I will, but I'm reluctant.
Get on this. Jack Jones TV. To use his full title?
Use his government name.
Jack Jones TV. Jack Jones TV, viral prankster. Viral.
I fucking hate the word prankster. I'm not saying it's the wrong word.
This is my kind of... I know what you mean, but I like it. He is proof. Pranks are never funny. Pranks are never good.
Yeah.
Pranks are never funny. And I think Jack Jones TV is the most 2010 man in the world.
I think you're right.
He is such a part of that part of British culture.
Yeah.
He's such a relic from that era.
From the Balls of Steel era.
The Balls of Steel era. The Dapper Laughs era.
Yeah, I guess.
And it was what was the platform of the 6th or 2nd...
Vine.
It was Vine. Vine was all pranks.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was. Most of Dapper Laughs' stuff, and I know this is an episode about Jack Jones TV, but we know Jack Jones' pranks. Most of Dapper Laughs' stuff, people forget it now. They think of Dapper Laughs as just this kind of like, you know, somewhat right-wing.
Yeah, lunatic.
Like, nasty guy. But it was pranks.
Yeah, right.
And back then, there was a real thing in Britain about pranks. Around that kind of 2010 to 2014 era, pranks were a big thing. And Jack Jones, I think this is the title of a song by maybe The Offspring. He was the original prankster. Do you know what I'm talking about? But that was Jack Jones TV, and he built notoriety.
And let me just quote the scholar Offspring.
I think it was the Offspring. Was it? Yeah, the Offspring.
What a band! Did not imagine them to come up with
conversations. But again, they were kind of part of that time, weren't they? And for me, it takes me back to being a kind of like late teens, I'd spent a lot of the 10 years prior to that watching Kerrang on TV and that kind of thing. And then you get to this time, smartphones are suddenly a thing. People are walking around filming themselves for the first time ever.
Which led to, of course, the scourge of the tabloid press at the time. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Happy slapping.
There you go.
Did you ever?
This is so that era of Britain.
Aspos, David Cameron, happy slapping.
Yeah, Cameron coming in.
Yeah.
It's so do you get that with Jack Jones TV? Like, it's such a period of that time.
Yeah.
It's so Facebook.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know? I know he was mainly Vine, but it was Facebook as well. It was that time.
And there's also something very like middle-aged about it, where it's almost like one of his function is not to actually bring people joy or make people laugh. It's to like make old people angry, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there was something about that kind of. Yeah, let's antagonise the older generation,
right?
And it's almost a bit kind of like it's funny that I didn't plan that at all, but the sort of pop punk kind of like
Yank stuff.
It's yank. It's baseball cap on. Let's wind up some people older than us, which was kind of happy slapping. It was the whole thing. Wasn't it? There was a kind of, I don't want to say culture war, but almost a generational war. And it's like, we've got the phones, they haven't. It was while our generation still used Facebook.
Yes.
Before Facebook became exclusively for your old aunt who wants to stop the boats. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And before dogs and paedophile memes, they're the only two things on Facebook.
We will get into that. But yeah, so that's Jack Jones TV. He has obviously continued.
Yes.
Right? That was his heyday. That was his peak. And I like stuff like this when we can talk about someone who's had an arc already.
Yes.
Because this guy, he's definitely had an arc.
He's had a. That's fair to say. He's like a Greek tragedy.
Yeah, he is. And he's a prankster. He's definitely a product of a bygone era. And I'm being careful because I think a few of the subjects we've done recently we've just really not liked.
Right.
HS Tiki Toki, we were terrified. Porky Parry that we did last week with John Kearn.
Yeah.
We had a lot of love for Porky.
Yeah.
But a few of the ones before that, we were just kind of roasting them. Jack Jones TV, I'm really going to try and find something to love. It's going to be fucking hard. It's not going to be easy. What are your thoughts on him?
I think it's just that thing of a bloke who's maybe been told he's a bit of a character by his parents when he's younger or by people around him.
Now, I think you've hit something very important very early.
Right.
I think he was told that by his parents.
Yeah.
I don't think he was told that by other people. This is no class clown. I think we have to be really, really specific with that. This guy was not making anyone laugh.
No, and that's the thing. He is the most. Just said, try and find something to love. He's one of the most stupid, unfunny people I've ever seen.
and I actually, fuck what I just said. I'm not going to try and love him. do you know why? He's horrible. I mean, he said things in the past that are transphobic,
right,
that are homophobic.
Right.
He said things in the past that are Islamophobic.
But why?
And now he has a girlfriend who I think is from a background of like that kind of background.
Right.
And so he does pretend to be a Muslim now.
Right.
He uses the word inshallah.
I'm slightly concerned that the podcast is just like us being like, what are the kids doing, man? But like every time
it's all right.
But I know, but his audience are children. They must be children.
They were.
Yeah, maybe
they've grown up.
It's terrible. And like he's like you say, they've grown up on Jack Jones. He's been a bit of a body transformation as well. He used to be a slightly larger chap, and he's now a bit more.
He's done. Yeah, again, he's done a full arc. I think he was a fairly like. I mean, we don't want to body shame. Like, we're not exactly in the shape of our lives. I think he was a fairly normal shaped guy.
Not after the amount of fucking snacks we do when we're in here.
I think he got successful, and as he got successful, he put on a bit of weight.
Oh, right.
And then I think he's done a kind of weight loss journey now. But it's all kind of entrenched in that kind of like, I'm doing boxing because of mental health. Do you know what I mean? It's all just that. And it's like... He also puts a lot of filters on, and you can't really tell what's real or
And there's this. He comes from this weird substrata of people now, where when you Google him, it's kind of like his content, and like with HS Tiki Toki, then about like 4 articles on the Daily Mail about something that he's done that was a bit naughty, but like basically has no influence on his ability to attract an audience because they don't give a fuck, do they?
I think you're right. I think when he does something cancelable, it doesn't.
These people are like fucking bulletproof, man. They do stuff. They do more stuff than like. But I guess it's just they don't have any purchase on the normal media landscape.
The thing is, I do think a bullet does come for them eventually, but it's not what you'd expect.
Right.
And it's not cancellation.
It's heart disease.
Come on, let's not body shame him, fat cunt. No, no, I don't mind being mean because he's been really horrible to minority groups in the past. I don't think. I think you're right that he's kind of uncancelable.
Right.
And I do think there's been a tone shift in the UK where kind of 10, 15 years ago, I was talking about this earlier, but like there was a kind of appetite for pranks, for real kind of overtly sick humour, for that kind of thing. And I think in time we've all got a bit like, we've just grown up.
Yeah,
it's a bit gross to think about.
And there's two types, I think, of that. And to subdefine this culture even more, there's two types. There is one, which he is not, which is the kind of Grebo bloke who's into American football and drinks Monster Energy. And it's more kind of like... what was the Welsh, not Jackass, the Welsh blokes that were the Dirty Sanchez. Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
Like that kind of...
It makes me think of CEX, you know, we can go and trade PS2 games. Those guys.
Makes me think of like Warhammer shops.
Mountain bikes stacked up outside of the McDonald's in Stevenage Town Centre.
Exactly,
those guys. Yeah,
the goths that are around the back of the Boleyn Centre.
Lip piercing and a Kerrang t-shirt, that kind of thing. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Baggy beanie, dodgy glasses, lip piercing.
Girlfriend with purple hair who can't look you in the eye.
Don't tend to smell great. Asking you what the Dallas Cowboys score was at the weekend.
Yeah. Those guys like sick humour.
They like sick humour. The other one is the kind of like I say, the kind of suburban southeastern character.
Yeah.
The like kind of like Gavinci t-shirt that has absolutely zero sense of humour, but has convinced themselves because they've got a loud voice, they're funny.
I think the Givenchy t-shirt, to pronounce it correctly.
Sorry, what did I say?
Gavinci.
God, did you see the other way around?
Code.
God, that would be a great detective story, say in Essex. The Gavinci Code. Wait, some geezer's fucking done his nut in here.
Jim Skin. That could be Jim Skin. If Jim Skin ever made a motion picture, it could be called the Gavinci Code.
Detective Jim Skin was one day away from retirement.
Try to find out somebody who was actually related to Mark Wright when they were younger.
I'm going to go...
Turns out Mark Wright did have a kid. And it's me, Jim Skin.
I'm going to go and live on my boat that live forever.
No, I know what you're saying. Like, I just want to get the aesthetic of the southeastern kind of I like sick humour prick, which I think is what Jack Jones TV is. Because they're from a bygone era, here's the aesthetic I think of. Let's say Givenchy, more cocaine and caviar jumpers.
Yeah, love that.
Boy London.
Do
you remember all of that?
Yeah. That's mad.
Super dry jacket.
That
is it.
He's not got a piece of clothing that doesn't have a Japanese symbol on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or just a big number and then the word Osaka. Osaka.
My mum,
for no reason.
My mum is
desert jeans. You know, that sort of ripped, baggy desert jeans and desert boots.
Remember
desert boots?
Or like kind of thing. Like even more bikery kind of. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then gelled hair with the fringe stuck to your forehead like that, and then a bit of spike here. That's Jack Jones TV aesthetic.
That's so good. My mum was so sweet. She used to like buy me clothes when I was younger, but like it was like she'd never seen me go out. It was like she'd never seen me. She would consistently buy me these.
It's a difficult age when were you like sort of 16, 17?
Yeah, maybe like 15, 16, that kind of age. And it was like she would buy me these t-shirts that had like a huge tiger on it and the word Nagasaki. And like I'd be like, have we ever like and it was so sweet because every time I at first I would be like, oh great, and then I would just not wear them, but eventually I'd be like, oh, I'm just not gonna wear this, and then just like the look on her face every time I was like, you gotta just take it. I think I should have started going out in it.
Well, it's a hard one that. I mean, the other kind of relic of that era was the Top Man, and again, Jack Jones is very Top Man.
Yes.
It's that era. Top Man. Top Man used to do, I think it was 3 t-shirts for maybe £12.
You really don't want to think about the economics of it. It was something like that. Yeah.
It was
even with inflation, it was like someone's working in a sweatshop here. Yeah.
Cheap. By the way, enjoy the hats. But it was insanely cheap. And the t-shirts, it would be like a base colour of like grey, and then a neon green lining around the collar, which would come down for 3 buttons. They were all a different colour.
They were called baseball colours.
Yeah, and then the same lining around the arms, the short sleeve.
You don't want to see some of the gear I was wearing, even without the Nagasaki stuff. My mum was probably thinking, "You cheeky cunt, the way you fucking."
I know. This is the thing. Our parents would have seen like a Jack Jones TV and think they want to look like that.
Yeah.
Baseball cap that says icon on it. That's the other one as well. I'm sure Jack Jones has that in one of these videos.
100%.
But yeah, so that was a thing of towards kind of like slightly not sick humour, but kind of like let's prank people,
pranky stuff,
by being immature and being inappropriate, and that was the kind of trend. And I just want to set the scene a little bit more before we get into Jack Jones's videos. I remember that, and it was very Facebook.
Yes.
Do you remember the trend of I'm going to use the word, I'm not going to break it down, fraping?
I do remember that, yeah.
That's what this reminds me of.
Exactly.
That's what this is. A really juvenile, got ya, fraping. I hate it. I'm thinking back about it. Like, I'm genuinely cringing inside just thinking about what that word means.
I know, it's
the wordplay is fucking horrible. But also what it was, and also thinking about like, I remember when fraping was a real big thing. I was like 16, 17.
Right.
I had all of my family on Facebook and then my school friends, and then someone would just go on your thing and just write the most horrendous thing they can think of. I mean, we used to do quite a good one to my mate Kane. You know Kane?
But I remember, I think you've talked about it before where but then it actually got a genuine reaction, didn't it?
So this is, I actually think this was a strangely good, because most people just get on your laptop and go, I love blowjobs, and then you go, I don't love blowjobs, I was just Kane on my bloody laptop, leave me alone. Whereas what we would do with Kane is if we got, because he was massive on Facebook. Like,
massive?
No, but like, you know how some people are just on it constantly?
Right.
People used to just scroll Facebook. Like, the least you can say about our generation, the algorithms got better.
Yeah.
You see what like journalists and content creators do now. Back then, it was just the shit your schoolmates would write.
Yeah, that's true.
I just had chicken for dinner. Like, boring.
Yeah.
Kane loved it. Kane absolutely loved it. And what we would do, we'd get his laptop and we'd go on there and I'd write. Like, we'd really appeal to the Stevenage audience, the people that, and as we've mentioned on this podcast before, working class people on Facebook, they hate paedophiles and they love dogs.
Love dogs.
That's it.
And somehow the two issues around them sometimes
Very
get tangled
often
up.
Get conflated, as Ahmed Yacoub has prompted for.
Yeah.
So we used to go on Kane's Facebook, we'd hack in and we'd put a status, it'd be along the lines of like, I'm so sick of pedos getting shorter sentences. I reckon what the government should do is hang them in Stevenage town centre so that me and the lads can spit and piss on them. And the best bit was all of his like thousands of friends on Facebook who are like all like Stevenage people would all be like, that's a fucking great idea. That's the best thing anyone's ever suggested. Kane should be Prime Minister. Let's make a Facebook group, Kane for PM. And then the problem was, because it was such a popular notion, he wouldn't be able to take it down. Because if he'd have gone on there and been like, no guys, that was Jacob taking the mic, they'd be like, what, do you love pedos then? Ironically, this was the UK like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't moved on.
No.
Like you could imagine on the back of like the Hugh Edwards scandal and stuff like that, people genuinely getting traction from saying.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure Tommy Robinson put a tweet that was basically that.
100%. Like you say, the circularity of it all. Now you have an age where you can look back on stuff. It's so crazy because it's just the same debates, like, and the same bullshit over and over and over again.
The UK has been stuck on a loop for fucking years.
200 years.
What do we do with paedophiles? And please, can someone think of the dogs? That is the UK.
Danny Dyer and Alison Hammond ask, what should we do with paedophiles? from Mango Media. That's our next podcast.
That's a reference to a Patron. We did a great Patron episode about comedy podcasts where we were saying how you can basically just put two celebs together and just ask them a daft question. Let's get on to Jack Jones TV. Should we watch the first clip?
Yeah, this is the first one. This is Jack. Jack.
This is Jack.
This is Jack Jones. We won't watch all of it because it's a minute and 38 long. But this is him genuinely. I mean, pranking is too strong a word. It's just fucking boring.
I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island
So he's in a supermarket. He's just coming up behind people.
Sweet Caroline.
Just shouting at people unexpectedly.
Good times never seem so true.
It's not the lyrics.
This one he's on a tube, so there's lots of tourists who are a bit...
Hello from the other side.
Now you get the gist here, and like, what is fucking me off so much is his shit-eating grin after he's done it. Look at that.
Worst thing.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier.
Oh my god. He's in prep for this one.
Cheers, brother.
That fake laugh. Now that is too intrusive. That is like in prep. It's kind of like no one's scared or intimidated. This one he's going up to like 14-year-old girls. They're singing along, to be fair.
Fantastic, you can touch my hair.
So he's on his own when he's recording these.
We stay hungry, we devour, put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. Thank you, sir.
People treating him with the fucking disdain he deserves.
Is that enough?
Horrendous. Has the light just gone off in here?
Maybe, I don't know. All right. Do you know the mental thing about this is like the way it should work is he looks so inconspicuous.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh my god, a normal person is just singing in public.
Yeah.
He looks so mental. Like the first one in that video is him in a supermarket.
Right.
If someone in a supermarket walked up to me in what I think was like a sleeveless zip-up hoodie, with a black baseball cap, black sunglasses on, huge,
he's got like gaming headphones.
Headphones with a luminous green cable, I wouldn't let them stand near me.
No.
I wouldn't let them get close enough to sing and surprise me. I'd probably alert security and be like, I think a Monster energy drinker is about to attack the supermarket.
A Warhammer player is about to attack the supermarket.
And you hit on something there. He's on his own. It's so lonely.
Have you seen that like really famous Instagram account now? It's called like Influencers in the Wild.
In the Wild, yeah.
And it's obviously like we've talked about numerous times on here. It's like the other shot of someone recording
the
themselves.
Reverse shot. That would be the most pathetic thing
Bleak
on the planet.
thing.
Is him sort of pottering around Tesco to find his target, practicing the camera angle, geeing himself up. Come on, Jack, let's do it.
Do you think he has to gee himself up? I just think he's so like blank and void in his head. I think he's just like a robot. He's just like a prank robot, just going up to old women in the supermarket doing, I'm just an island boy. Shut up.
It's so embarrassing, man. It's so like unimaginative. He's been like, so that's recent.
How old is he?
I think he's our age, if not older. That's recent, right? Because that island boy thing, that was only like last summer and the summer before, right? He's been doing this for about 15 years. 15 years. This is, and this is, you were saying earlier, you were like, he said some more horrible stuff, and that doesn't seem to be the bullet that's killed him. His numbers have definitely gone down, right? He's definitely nowhere near where he was when Vine was a thing 15 years ago.
Right.
It's not. You're right. It's not because he's been cancelled. It's not because his content is like tasteless, which it is. It's because it's boring. It's because you're doing.
Got a new bell, everyone. It's a different kind of bell, actually. This is going to be the two eras.
One more.
The two eras of the
maitre d' bell.
So, if you don't know, we ring a bell when Jacob says something that's accidentally wise, or we call it the wisdom bell. And it used to be a little like hotel, like when you go up to a counter and go ding. And there wasn't.
It was quite neat, wasn't it?
It's quite
worked
neat,
nicely,
quite easy. And now he's bought me a little like.
Well, we did it at the live show. Let's explain. We had it at the live show, which was one of the most fucking embarrassing moments of my life. Jack D and Josh Widdicombe were doing a show in the venue after us. They were upstairs, and I was carrying a bell upstairs. What's that, by the way? Shut up. No. And then after the live show, famously, I went out and got pissed, lost some of our merch, and I also lost the wisdom bell. So for the last few weeks, I've been trying to replace the wisdom bell, and I thought we'd up our game and go for this.
It neatly divides the eras of the podcast, I think, in kind of before the live show and after the live show. And now, when I'm shaking it, what's great is there's not a huge amount of dignity in sitting in this room and doing the podcast anyway. Now having to go like this, any dignity I had, and it barely works.
Well, no, you got to give it a good fucking.
Oh, that's turned the lights back on. We've done enough movement to turn the lights on.
You can't see on the camera with the lights on. But what is quite funny about that, I brought that to the studio today. That was in my backpack. I was just getting on the tube like a little fucking.
Jacob sent me a video of him coming down the tube escalator at Oxford Circus like a fucking cow. Fucking heifer in a Swiss fucking meadow.
Jack Jones, it's fucking boring.
Is there a fucking cow on the tube?
We're content creators, and we know that you have to mix things up. You can't just be a little ding all the time. You have to be a ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. You have to be the Hunchback of fucking Notre Dame. He's been doing the same shit for 15 years.
It's fucking bleak.
It's so boring, and it's so shit. Like, I hate to say this, but like, the KSIs of this world, the HS Tiki-Tokis of this world, they evolve.
They change.
They go for, HS Tiki-Toki, he doesn't just call girls skets on the internet. He catches pedos.
He dispenses vigilante justice.
He fights people. He fights people he might have learning difficulties. He crashed his car.
Yeah.
He's mixing it up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Jack Jones is still the fucking jump out and go, oh, he likes to swing from a shaft. Ha ha ha, got them.
Yeah. And also in that video, he doesn't actually get them very much. The ones where he like really makes them jump, which is like, again, borderline intimidating. He's right in their ear.
Yeah.
In the kind of like carriages on the tube or whatever, people are just looking at him. He's the butt of the joke. People are literally laughing at him for being an idiot.
But this is the thing. The climate has changed.
Right.
It used to be, like 15 years ago, when Vine had just become a thing, when
Right.
Facebook was just a thing, when content creation had just become a thing, like, you wouldn't expect someone to film themselves doing that to you. Nowadays, like, it is a thing. Everyone on that tube would have gone, oh, it's just another cunt with a camera.
Yeah, that's so fucking true.
It's just another fucking prick, is it?
That's so fucking
oh, it's just
true.
some other cunt doing that.
At
is
some
it?
point, it was like a novelty, or it was like, oh, you never guess
You're
what we
filming?
saw today.
What, you're going to put it on the internet? Now
Everyone's
like,
filming.
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
hell.
And it's also like that's your thing. Like, bear in mind, nowadays, like you do well to get to work on a daily basis without someone getting you in a content video.
Yeah.
Without you get
Especially
the people,
in central London.
Yeah, exactly. People follow you down the street, and go, "Excuse me, do you mind telling us what you do for a living?" Or do you know what I mean? Or like, you walk down fucking Camden High Street, and some 17-year-old with a Vox Pop mic will go, "Excuse me, brother, you a bocat?"
Who told you that?
and you have to go, what's a bocat? And they're like, granddad doesn't know what a bocat is. Do you go down on the women? And you're like, I do with my girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's life now. That's life. You cannot walk down Camden High Street without someone asking you if you're willing to give your wife oral sex. Like, so now, like when Jack Jones TV,
I do with my girlfriend.
Fuck off. It's all that stuff. There's like, I shared one on the screen on Instagram the other day of like some girl who stopped some other girl on the street, and this girl is like almost having a fit. She's like got this sort of cool, trendy girl, sort of shit 90s Matrix sunglasses on,
right.
and she's wearing like some shit deliberately cheap tracksuit, and she's like, where do you think is the trendiest part of London? The other girl's like, I think I'd say Dulwich, like Southeast. She's like, yeah, Slay, Dulwich, that. So it's like, but the point I'm trying to make is there is such a huge variety of like
bullshit.
Get you on the street, make content out of yourself.
Yeah.
That now, like, the people on the tube 15 years ago, they'd have been like, what? And you're filming? You were singing? What's going on? Huh? This is going to be a Vine?
I go down on my
Me?
girlfriend.
Now they're like, this is the 6th time someone's got me on the way to work. I've told someone that I'm willing to go down on my missus. I've told that girl that my favourite part of London in terms of fashion is probably East London, and
Showed
now you're
someone
singing
around
at
my
me.
flat.
I'd like,
Told them
think
what
of
my
something
wage is.
fucking interesting, mate. I've already told someone my salary. I've told someone how much my flat is every month. Come on, man. Like, this is the 6th bit of content I've been got with on the way to work today.
Those fucking weirdos over there just tried to give me a friendship blazer that says rotter on it.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Well, I think...
I think what we should get onto is that there is... Like, and I think you make the point that the people who aren't bored are the ones who are like, oh, fucking hell, you got a bit close to me there,
Right.
mate. And I don't know about you, my brain, when I watch that happen to someone else, I go, oh God, I'd like someone to attack you.
I do think he is a very hateable figure, and because he's intruding on people's personal space, and because also the prankster, particularly the southeastern wanker prankster, always comes with a like undertone of like, it's just a joke, mate. It's just a joke. What are you getting annoyed
Can't
for?
take it too seriously.
Can't take it too seriously.
It's just content,
just
man.
a joke. And so obviously, this is the other bad thing about it. It does lead to recriminations and to reprisals, and that's the video that we're going to watch next. So this is Jack Jones, and he gets, well, I guess there's another word for it. He gets attacked by a rival prankster.
And the thing is, like you know, we joke around and like we're fucking adults in our early 30s, right? And we talk about a guy who's been doing this since he was a teenager. Obviously, we'd never wish violence upon him.
No.
But I love this video.
So this is Jack Jones, and this guy, I can't remember who it was, but I think it like went to court and all sorts. But yeah, this is him doing a pizza prank on Jack Jones.
Hey, that was so fucking close.
Pizza camp!
doing, you fucking twat?
Pizza cam, Jack.
So Jack is immediately not happy.
Oh!
Calls him a mug.
What? Come on. Why are you starting on me? Bit of pizza in the face.
No, he's calling the
mate, what a
police.
nightmare. Yeah, because the police are. You phoned the police because I put pizza in your face.
He's got a little
Jack.
pork pie hat on as well, like Peter Doherty hat.
That ain't wasting police time. I don't know what it is. A bit of pizza in your face.
Now,
Oh.
He's filming Jack Jones in the back of the police car.
Some officers, basically Jack's phoned the police because I put a bit of pizza in his face.
and now Jack's ended up in the back of the police car.
Big man! Big Jack Jones in the police car. He's phoned the police on me because he's got a bit of pizza. Bit of pizza in your face and you phoned the police. Prick.
Now, for anyone who's not watching, let me just quickly say what happened there. Jack Jones was walking down the street, clearly on a night out. Was drip check. He had an unbuttoned denim shirt, vest underneath, trilby hat on. It's the most top man thing you've ever seen in your
incredible.
life. Some guy pranks Jack. Pizza to the face. Jack goes, "What are you doing, you mug?" Goes to start on the guy. I think might have punched the guy. I think that's what the guy left out. So
Okay,
I remember this at the time.
right.
I think Jack did actually hit the guy, which is why when Jack phones the police on the guy, the police arrest Jack Jones. And it's just a
Right.
beautiful moment at the end where the guy is filming Jack Jones going, "I threw a pizza in your face. I pranked you like you prank everyone else. You've been arrested." That is almost so perfect. I wondered if it was fake the first time I saw it.
And the
It's the perfect comeuppance.
a phrase that I think my family used to use, or in general I heard quite a lot growing up, was like, if you don't dish it out if you can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's there's a lot of phrases for it. Chat shit, get banged is
No,
another one.
that's what I was about to say. We're talking 2010's humour
you
here.
talking-
Jamie Vardy, chat shit, get banged.
Chat shit,
Yeah.
get banged, and that is the epitome of chatting shit and getting banged. But what I think we wanted to link it to, right, was that it kind of started affecting his content because he couldn't. He clearly became
The
more
nation
aware.
wanted to punch Jack Jones. The
What would
nation
you-
wanted to punch.
Yeah.
Jack Jones had been chatting shit, and as a country, we wanted him to get banged.
get banged.
And you'll notice that he picks his targets very carefully.
Yes.
In the first video we watched, it was an older lady in the supermarket. It was some young tourists. Every person he got really close to was someone who
That's
would
true.
not have punched
That's
him.
true. Yeah.
But what it means is there aren't enough of those people around. And what happened after that is the most pathetic thing that's ever happened. Is he started faking the prank.
This is almost unbearable to watch.
This is almost unwatchable.
But we're
It's the
gonna-
most cringeworthy thing. We'll narrate it because you know.
So this is kind of similar camera angle to the video from before where he's kind of shouting in people's face, but he's in a supermarket.
Hello, mate, you alright? Yeah, I'm just out shopping at the moment. No, I'm not okay. My gut's been playing me up the whole morning. Give me a second.
So there's a woman just over his shoulder.
Excuse me, that's bloody disgusting.
The worst
babes.
acting ever.
It's Jack. Why are you breaking up with me? I've done everything you ever asked of me. I made love to you. I paid the bills. Why are you doing this for?
This is
Hello?
abhorrent. This old lady.
Hello?
There's an old lady on his shoulder.
Excuse me, darling.
Yeah.
I'm available if you're free.
Hello, mate. You alright? Yeah, I'm just at the gym at the moment.
Hello, mate. You all right?
No, I'm not alright. I want to use the machine next to me, but this roid head's taking ages. Bro, who the fuck you calling roid head, bro? Hello, babes.
Oh my god.
What do you mean you haven't cleaned the dishes? I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. If you haven't cleaned them by the time I get back, we're done. Bye.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh my god.
Hello, mate. You alright? Oh, you never guess who I'm stood next
This bloke
to?
just stood.
Harry Potter. Yeah, you know, from the Philosopher's Stone. Who the fuck you calling Harry Potter for, bro? Huh? Who the fuck you calling Harry Potter, bro?
Oh my god.
As a nation, I'm like that is the British public willfully and consensually interacting in his content, acting alongside him. As a nation, I'm almost as embarrassed by that as some of the atrocities we've committed globally.
Jack Jones is worse than colonialism.
I don't feel great about Brexit. I don't feel great about the actions of the British Empire. The fact that our nation and its people are willing to interact in content like that, I'd say it's worse.
Much worse.
That's the worst thing Britain's done.
I think
That's the worst thing that Britain has
that
ever
is not
done.
the institutional view of this podcast.
I felt a sense of patriotism and national pride when the man attacked him with a piece of pizza.
Yes.
I feel fucking shame when I watch that. And as Tommy Robinson has many times said in the media, we have to sort this country out.
Yeah, he was talking about different stuff. He wasn't talking about Jack Jones. We're specifically talking about Jack Jones. We agree with the wording, but not the sentiment.
Jake has a job.
And what I will say is that I don't think I actively asked for an asteroid to hit the UK after the HS Tiki Toki stuff.
I think you said you welcome the
I think I
think you
like,
alluded to the fact one is coming.
Would
and
it be the worst thing? And when you watch that like you do think to yourself, are we the most embarrassing, broken, pathetic country on earth? And I do, and to link it back, I did have that sense in Barcelona. Like in Barcelona, you're wandering around. It's beautiful. The architecture's beautiful. Beer's like €1. Coffee's €1.
Mm-hmm.
People go for a nice bit of lunch. They work and then they go down the beach. The beach is beautiful, clean. No one there's pissed. And they must be looking at us going, they wanted to get away from us? Are they having a fucking laugh?
Well, especially if they were to view this. If they were to
Oh
look
my
at this.
God.
If they were to look at this fucking twat of a bloke, this professional dickhead who walks around scripting and also like with no kind of irony.
None.
Like, let me make a comparison with Jack Jones. And you're right, by the way. If the people of Barcelona were to watch him, this fucking twat, the worst dress sense imaginable, still so 2012 with his baseball cap.
He's had his dinner at the Harvester before they even leave the house.
Yeah, his slouchy fucking t-shirt going, no, actually, I'm in the gym and some mandem is taking up the gym equipment. And then the guy who was clearly faking it goes, what did you just say to me, bro? And then they look to camera, yeah, I think if other European nations look at that, they can go, have whatever fucking trade deal you like.
Fuck off. But like that one, so this is important, right? In the first one, it's shot the same. The angle is the same. So it's meant to evoke the ones that were real. But it's so obviously scripted and fake that it can't possibly be that.
But
so
it's not making a virtue of it.
But how could you draw any joy or humour from it? Like if you're a cock, you might see the one where he frightens someone in Leicester Square and be like, it's funny when people jump or whatever. He got them. With this, like, who is that for?
What's the gag?
Is it for someone that's been kicked in the head by a horse?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only person that could find that even pleasantly and partially enjoyable.
And to sort of link it back to when we were talking about HS Tiki Toki a couple of weeks ago, there's nothing self-deprecating or self-knowing about it. And it's like, how the fuck have you done this for 15 years and not acknowledged the fact that you're a cock?
And how does... Yeah, exactly.
How have you managed 15 years of this without going... like
his status in the video is the man. He's the man, right?
Every single time. And with, like... I'm not even criticising him as a human being here. To criticise him as a comedian, which I think he thinks he is.
Yeah.
How have you not spotted that there is a gap for you to take the piss out of
yourself?
Like, by the way, I should say, like, he's had an arc, right, where he was big, small, bit of cancellation. He said horrendous stuff. He put on a lot of weight. He sort of got a lot of people taking the piss out of his weight.
Right.
He went through the whole mental health thing. You've all made me depressed now. Addicted to boxing, long-term relationship, apparently a Muslim, right? And shout out to an artist who follows us called Times New Roadman.
Right.
Do you know that guy?
Yeah.
I mentioned we were doing him, and he was like, "Yeah, he claims to be a Muslim, although he does also have like a small, horrible dog, like a pug, which I think is haram." Right? So it's like,
okay.
None of it, but he still uses the word inshallah sometimes,
right.
despite the fact that he's made Islamophobic comments in the past. The whole thing is a fucking
head
mess.
fuck.
And yet, at no point has he gone, "Wouldn't it be funny if I took the piss out of myself?" And let me give a bit of credit to someone we've covered in an episode previously, Jim Skin.
Yes.
New single out now. Oi! Get the drinks in. If they're not tens, then we're not linking.
That's one of Jacob's bars, but the Jim Skin is out now as well.
Jim Skin, I've been watching a bit of Jim Skin. He's still doing the thing where people will take the mick out of his kind of jawline. However, I think it's got to a bit now where people are taking the mick out of his jawline in the hope that he finds it funny and shares it.
Right.
It's a very knowing, funny thing.
Yeah.
And what Jim Skin does, so Jim Skin's got this mental jawline, and people will comment and going, "What does he play for Mewchester United?" Because there's a thing called mewing.
I've heard about mewing.
Where you can sort of put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and it makes your jaw kind of push out like that.
100% we're going to get like 55 comments being like, these two fucking chinless wonders need to start mewing
He
immediately.
start mewing immediately. Right. See, he'll because he's got a fake filter on his videos where he's got a big jaw. People will go, "Did this guy play for Manchester United?" And what he does every single time, it's the same format every single time. He'll go, "I was just in the middle of," and it'll be like, I don't know, going to the gym. "I was just in the middle of working out at the gym," and then Jake Farrell on TikTok commented, "Does this guy play for Manchester United?" And then he'll go, "What do you mean by that?" And he'll go, like, stick his chin out, right? And what I love about Jim Skin is he can take the piss out of himself.
Yeah.
Because what he started doing now, not just acknowledging the big jaw and chin, what he does now is he takes the piss out of his own video format.
Nice.
So where he'd always say, "I was just in the middle of X activity," he's now does stuff like, he did one the other day where he was at home and he's got one of those salt lamps.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Like those kind of like orange like lamps that are made of like a big brick of salt.
Yeah.
He sat there and he goes, "I was just in the middle of holding my salt lamp and I saw that Jake Farrell commented, 'What do you mean by that?'" Like, Jack Jones is so thick, he hasn't even thought of ridiculing his own form.
Well, I was going to say, when you're like, someone sat around going, you're not even in the same meta self-deprecation level as Jim Skin. Not fucking Lenny Bruce,
You're
as
not as
Jim Skin.
You're not as clever as Jim Skin. You don't have the same levels of self-awareness as Jim Skin. And it's because he's humorless. It's because the guy isn't funny. He wasn't funny at school. He wasn't funny growing up. This wasn't a class clown. This guy has never made anyone laugh in the pub. I fucking guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And you know, like, the thing with these people, they will take on any kind of like ideology, any kind of love, any kind of like, "Yeah, well, I'm a Muslim now, actually. Yeah, well, I've got mental health now, actually. Yeah, well, I'm boxing now, actually. So, yeah, you can't take the piss out of me." And the thing, and we mentioned it with HS Tiki Toki, the thing with this guy, there is a strange obsession with grandparents.
And elderly people in general.
Do you know my mate Luke Porter?
I do.
One of my pals from Stevenage. He's a nan kid. He's too close with his nan. And we've said it about him. We're like, we all love our nans, mate. There's something weird with you and your nan.
I would love to.
Every part of Luke's life,
Yeah.
I think everything weird that he does, everything strange that he says, it's like, it's because you're a nan kid.
You're a nan guy.
If you and your nan are two, there's like, we all love our nans. There's something weird about you and your nan. And Jack Jones has got that. Him and his nan. He's got like, and older women in general, and it's almost like a defense mechanism of a lot of these kind of guys who do kind of prank humor, cancelable humor. What am I going to say next? It's like, "Yeah, well, I'm kind to my fucking nan, aren't I?"
Yeah.
Should we watch?
Yeah, let's watch this. This is even more pathetic than the attempts at humour. This is Jack Jones giving out flowers to old ladies.
Excuse me, darling. I just want to say you look absolutely beautiful, and I got these for you.
For me?
Yes, for you. I promise you. I'm just trying to make people's days a little bit better.
Pathetic music underneath.
You're welcome, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take. Excuse me, darling. I just want to say you look absolutely beautiful, and I got these for you. I got these for you. I'm just trying to make people's days a little bit better.
No, you're not. I've been shouting in people's ear in Leicester Square all morning, you cunt.
Well, now's your first. Yeah. God bless. Have a great day.
Fucking bring on
Take
the
care.
asteroid.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Excuse me, darling. I just want to say
Hope
you
it
look
just
absolutely
can't do another
beautiful.
one.
No, I can't.
Sorry,
I
watch
can't do
another
any
one.
more of that.
I cannot watch another one. Don't worry about that. They can't see it. The line that he delivers, "I'm just trying to make people's days a little bit better."
Nothing could be further from the truth.
But this is what it is. It's because it's a kind of slap back against people saying you're being a cunt.
Right.
It's because he's had so many comments over the fucking decade and a half of people going, "Stop being a prick to people in public." It's always the thing. There's a sort of vague mental health angle of like, "Yeah, people are miserable nowadays. I'm just trying to be funny and trying to cheer people up." You know, he said almost exactly the same thing. It's Bevo.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make everyone's days a little bit better.
I'm a genuine guy.
I'm just a genuine guy. I'm just doing it for views.
Yeah.
It's David Brent in The Office. What I'd like people to write on my headstone when I die is he just tried to make everyone laugh.
Yeah.
And it's Jack Jones's TV. That is his kind of like. If anyone was to say, "Mate, you're a prick. You just go around trying to wind people up," he'd go, "No, I'm not. I'm just trying to make everyone's days a little bit better." Look, I filmed myself giving £4 worth of flowers
Yeah.
to someone in the street And the best thing that could have happened in that video, you know, the first one, it was like an old lady and her, you'd assume husband?
Yeah, assume so.
Imagine the husband punched him.
Yeah. You're that fucking Jack Jones wanker, aren't you? Bash. I think. Do you reckon they have nan guys up north as well, or that's just a southern?
I don't know. I like the kind of like over sentimentality towards older people, which is so fucking patronising. Like it feels southeastern to me.
Yeah.
It feels like and it's such a thing of being like it's all, like there's that phrase of like you'd always hope your nan crossed the street.
Yeah.
A lot of nans are cunts. A lot of nans.
You heard it here first, everyone.
I don't mind. I mean, will mine hear it? I don't care. My nan's horrible. My nan's not a very nice person. I'll go into some Hawley family history. I don't mind telling you this.
I didn't fucking start this podcast and buy all these fucking lights so you could come on here and be like, my
nan's not a very nice person. I only found this out when I was about 30. When I turned 30 a couple of years ago. My mum and my nan never really got on. Right. And God, where am I going with this?
Is she like? I don't know what I was going to say.
We're trying to wrap up. I'm so sorry. No, but I can't say that and not back it up. She's a really horrible person, my nan. So my nan is from
in like a genuinely horrible way, rather than being like.
Oh yeah, well, because I'm going to explain.
Okay.
It. Sorry, mate. You let me get in.
Trying
with
to
this
give you an
it's
off
going to
ramp.
blow your mind. It's going to blow your fucking mind when I come out with it.
Well, she is listening. There's no way she'd fucking last this long into the episode anyway. Go on.
Okay. My mum and my nan always had a bit of a fictitious relationship. I never really understood it. My nan, Irish, from a really poor family. I think travellers from Ireland. A lot of alcohol problems in the family. Lot of when I say mental health stuff, you know,
proper mental health.
Yeah,
old school mental health.
People are dead.
when mental health was mental health. Yeah.
A lot of people have died.
Yeah.
That side of the family is really rough, really horrible. You know, my nan's getting older. Her husband died a couple of years ago. I said to my mum a couple of years ago, why do you never go and help with nan? What's going on with you and nan? And that's when my dad was like, you have to just fucking tell him now. And my mum was like, okay. So my mum's parents separated when she was really young. Her dad had really bad alcohol problems. My mum told me 2 years ago that when my mum was 6 years old, she was kicked out on the street by my nan. Because my nan said to her, you remind me too much of your father. My nan kicked my mum out on the street. My mum, I didn't know this until I was 30, that my mum was raised through the care system.
Right.
And it's because my nan just willfully went, fuck off, get out.
Right.
Next time people are thinking about the winter fuel allowance. You want to heat her, do you? You want to keep her warm? Every episode. How did we get there?
I don't know how we got there.
Will we clip that?
Hello, darling. Can I just say you look absolutely... Don't give those flowers to her. She kicks someone out on the streets.
That's all true.
Do you think we went hard enough on Jack Jones? Do you think the Rotters will be satisfied?
I think we went hard enough, and I think what we did is we dissected what he does wrong, why he's such a prick, and I think people will be satisfied. I think we looked into every facet of him. I think most importantly, we showed the moment he got attacked. And then I told the most troubling story of my family history.
Look, if you're out there and you're down the pub and you've got some guy in a Givenchy, am I doing that right? Givenchy. If you've got someone with a Givenchy t-shirt on down the pub and they're going, oh, don't worry, mate, it's only a joke. Don't worry, mate, just having a bit of a laugh. You fucking send them this podcast and say, you fucking weird nan guy, get away from me, and probably tell him to miss the anecdote about Jacob's granddad at the end. Grandmother. Sorry,
my
mistake.
granddad wasn't great. So what he did was a
See you next week.
Cause I'm telling